Like most draftsmen and designers, you have probably heard about Copic markers, but you may not have had a chance to try them, due to limited distribution in France and a rather high price. However, as soon as you discover these markers, you will really like them and it will be a pity to deprive yourself of them. The aim, therefore, of this video is to introduce you to the Copic product line and to demonstrate their principal qualities. Let's start by having a look at Copic's catalog. Made by two in Japan for 20 years, the Copic line is probably the most complete to date. It includes, indeed, 4 types of markers. The Copic marker, so-called original or classic, with 214 colors at €3 each, the Copic sketch with 346 colors at €4.50 each, the Copic Chao with 180 colors at €3.80 each, and the Copic Wide with 36 colors at €12 each. Thus, within a single system, you can easily find the marker appropriate to your needs. If the Copic Chao seems to fit the needs of a casual artist, the Copic marker on Wide would never restrict a professional, whereas the sketch allows you to complete a collection or satisfy any amateur or professional. Moreover, you can easily get your markers accessories such as replaceable nibs or, more importantly, refillable inks for each marker. Those bottles are called various ink and are sold between 9 and 10 euros piece. Of course, that's not all. You can find in the catalog different nibs for your markers, as well as a Copic cleaner, an ink absorber and its holding clamp, comparable to a cotton wool demakeup, a blender, and even an empty marker. It should be noted that the blender is available in each type of marker, making the white blender a really good tool to blend and do backgrounds. Each marker is available individually, as well as in a variety of set compilations, generally from 12 to 72 markers. The Copic Chao are even available in batches of 5 plus a multiliner pen with a 0.3mm tip, and the sketch is also available in a case of 346 markers. Moreover, Copic offers a rare accessory that only Letraset sells, as well as an airbrush. Available in different packs, meeting every need, it benefits from a superb manufacturing quality. You can easily link it to a compressed air can or compressor. But that's not all, folks. Copic also makes a lot of products to help you during your work, such as bead-proof marker pads, paper in different sizes, 3 lines of multiliner, the Multiliner SP from 0.03mm to 0.7mm, refillable and with replaceable nibs. The Multiliner SP color with 12 colors and a 0.03mm or a soft brush tip. The Multiliner for sketching with tips from 0.05 to 1mm and 2 brush nibs. The 3 smallest tips are also available in sepia. But also different wallets or displays for your markers. Now that we are more familiar with the Copic product line, let's focus on the famous model that made the brand's popularity, the original Copic marker, its airbrushing system ABS-1N, and the Multiliner Set B with its marker pad. Here is a set of 36 markers with the appropriate colors for industrial design. We have 5 warm grays, 5 cool grays, a blender, a black, and the essential colors to do anything without limits. Copic's attention to detail really surprised me. Each marker is presented along the same way, with its logo and references facing the user. The color chart is identical on each model and can be summarized thus. The reference is composed of 1 or 2 letters showing the color type, here Y and R. It's the broad classification. One first number of intermediate classification, here 2, and a second for the variation of the color within the intermediate classification, here 3. The wall is named explicitly yellow ochre for YR23. The color showed on each cap varies slightly from the real color, but it doesn't cause confusion and the color is very close. Each marker has its reference indicated on both caps with its color on the end fitting and the color name. It couldn't be better. On the other hand, the reference is discrete on the body of the marker, appearing only on one side, and the same goes for the nibs. On this specific point, the new flex marker from Letterset does better. Nevertheless, with experience, you will quickly find the good tip thanks to the dark grey border on the side of the fine tip. The advantage of having the information only on one side is that it shows you the orientation of the wedge-shaped broad tip always located in the same way. I would like to point out that the manufacturing quality of Copic markers is exempt of any defect and will stand the test of time. It's obviously a quality product. Hands in hand, contrary to any preconceptions, the shape is almost as ergonomic as a round marker. Its advantage is that it doesn't roll on a slightly inclined work surface. However, do not attempt to work on very inclined surfaces, your Copics will slip or roll. The smell of their solvent is quite pleasant, while the Letterset markers have a slight smell of disinfectant, and the shard packs have quite a strong smell of alcohol that some users find disagreeable and can increase your alcohol level by the end of the day. The smell of a Copic is soft, hardly stronger than Letterset's one. You should not be disturbed by it. The fact remains that we deal with two good nibs with a fine stroke, neither too soft or too hard. I didn't notice any problem with the nib cutting and the ink as a well-balanced flow. It gives a feeling between shard pack and tria. The flow would not overwhelm a beginner like a shard pack and is controllable like the tria with a flow rate slightly higher. Depending on your output and experience, each brand is therefore more or less appropriate, but the difference is minimal. Thus, I think shard pack meets the needs of professional designers or artists during their researches but are less suitable for those concerned about detail, for which tria is an ideal solution. With Copic, we are between the two of them. You can afford to use them a little bit like shard packs or tria, according to your needs. Of course, the difference is very subtle and each brand can be used in any domain. Those seeking precision would miss the third ultrafine nib of a tria that goes well with the brush tip. However, you can find in Copic's catalogs a superfine nib that I didn't test. Don't forget the Copic Marker is an excellent tool and is a real pleasure to use. I just regret a little that the edge of the wedge-shaped broad tip does not give a slimmer line, but it does provide a middle width between the two good tips. The fixing of the chisel nib prevents it from rolling on its axis, which can easily happen with shard pack. They are well protected under their caps, well locked, a considerable force being necessary to unlock them. Globally, the ink is pleasant to use, it blends well with other markers, gives nice shiny colors, and dries at a reasonable speed. By comparing several tests on a small surface of 4 per 1 cm saturated in ink by 10 strokes in a row, Copic's ink dries about the same speed as shard pack's ink, and tria's ink is a little bit longer to dry. Depending on your uses, you can decide what suits you best. We can catch their ink out with a ballpoint pen like a big crystal. The solvent of Copic's ink dissolves a little the Big's layout, making it blurry. Nevertheless, the competitors do hardly better, only shard pack passes this test. Last but not least, your marker's shelf life shouldn't be a problem at all. With a good various ink, 10 euros, you can tank up 9 times and increase tenfold your marker's life expectancy. The price of your marker, 6 euros, and its various ink, 10 euros, will pay for themselves over the years, offering you an economic solution and an actual cost lower than 2 euros per life. If needed, you can change the tips, but it's rare, and thus keep your marker lifetime with a little bit of tender loving care. In France, you will have some difficulties to find Copic markers in stores, generally at a purchase money high compared to the competitors, often at 6 euros piece to 3 or 4,50 euros for the competitors. It's the opportunity cost to enter in an overall system, enduring and finally economic if you can afford the capital investment, the only limit to the purchase. Do not hesitate to do some research on internet and call retailers to find the nearest to you with the best prices. Otherwise, you can perfectly well buy them directly on internet. In this instance, prefer to invest in a set of 36 markers to pay off the shipping cost. Finally, you can also consider the Copic sketch for about 4,50 € each for the Copic Chao, more affordable, sold 3,80 € each. For a while, perhaps you have a question on the touchscreen markers. And yes, they really look like the Copic marker and you may think it's a low-cost variant from 2. Nope, not at all. They were made by Shin-Han in 123 colors. It's obviously a cheap Korean copy aiming to participate in the success of Copic worldwide and profit from the problems of Tria in 2007, problems fixed for a long time, when these products appear in French stores in loco of Tria. The striking resemblance with the Copic marker is such that you can almost use touches caps on Copic's marker, and the touchscreen markers perfectly fit into the Copic's airbrushing system. Therefore, it is not surprising that a lot of people think the two markers are similar, intimately related, and made by the same producer, or that there is a doubt, like we can read it on a lot of forums. As far as I am concerned, I am surprised they remain for so long legally on the market. Not wishing anyone imitate my work and take credit for it, I prefer to avoid this brand which deceives the consumer. Small anecdote, the communication of the touch took credit for its square shape. Since July 2011, Shin-Han changed its marker, offers 168 colors, refillable ink and replaceable nibs, but the similarity with two products is still there, and even if Shin-Han tried to be between the original Copic marker and the Copic sketch. As we have seen earlier, the designers can find a lot of tools named Copic. One of them is a Multiliner, available in 3 lines. The first one, Multiliner Set B, is based on an elegant metal body and 10 signs from 0.03 mm to 0.7 mm on a small brush tip. They are refillable and their tips are replaceable. This model is also available in a line called Multiliner SP Color of 12 colors and 2 tips, one of 0.03 mm and one small brush tip. However, the third line is better for a designer. It is made up of 8 multiliners from 0.05 to 1 mm and even a small and medium brush tip. The 3 smaller are also available in sepia. The wholeness of the black lines exists in the Multiliner Set B for a cost of 30 euros. Their main advantage is to accord with the marker's Copic. Indeed, your Copic marker's ink do not dissolve the Multiliner's one when it is dry, even if the last one dirties sometimes a little bit the marker's color. So it's a great tool for sketching, draw manga or color up rapid roughs. Indeed, they are really natural and offer a great feeling. The real surprise comes from the multiliners with brush tips, allowing to naturally reach layouts with a varied width and an amazing yield. They are particularly good to elaborate handsome sketches and researchers' drawings, but they can also help you on your renderings for any small black detail. I really fell in love with them at first year. We can only reproach them for one thing about the ink: it is sweet but takes a longer time to dry than Copic's ink. If you use it to draw on large frames of marker pads, be careful not to touch the paper with the end when you draw. Otherwise, you risk to dirty your sketch. It's particularly easy with big ellipses on the medium brush tip. The facts remain that once your sketch done, you just need few marker strokes to realize nice strokes, which, finally, work out very well. As explained earlier, 2 is the only one producer with Letra Set to offer an airbrushing system in its catalog for both Copic and Sketch. A little bit neglected, this tool deserves your attention to realize backgrounds, gradations, or different styles a little bit obscure. The concept is simple. With compressed air, the marker's ink is projected on the paper with the aspect of a cloud or grain. Like all airbrush, analogical with paint or digital in Photoshop or Painter, the gap between the paper and the airbrush, the inclination and the rotation play a role in the result. With an airbrush, you do not draw anymore on a 2D plane, but really in a space in 3 dimensions. From then on, you can expect to have to learn how to use it. Copic has the particularity to have products for every budget. Like Letra Set, you can buy your precious Copic airbrushing system alone in order to connect it on a compressed air canister or compressor. But this solution is expensive and you should consider it with a good background. The simplest is to use your airbrush with a small Aircan 60, directly connected on your air grip. However, if you like to draw large or are productive, you could consider the Aircan 180. Unfortunately, it will be too heavy if you connect it directly on the airbrush. Fortunately, Copic has a solution like Letra Set with a connecting hose. On the air adapter, you can link your airbrush to any Aircan 180 or compressor. You will find all 2 tools in the set ABS-1N. It offers you also a table display in foam rubber. If you are interested, you should consider to buy this set with 1 or 2 Aircan 180 to practice and be sound for a long time. This kit allows you also to use a compressor. The gripping ability is very good even if Letra Set solution is closer to a marker. Copic made its air grip like a pistol with a trigger above. The manufacturing quality can be qualified as first class and flattering. You can put in your air grip any Copic marker or Copic sketch. The Chao on white cannot be used. If you already go cycling, and I think you do, you probably have already had to inflate an inner tube. Remember, while you were using your bicycle pump, it was warming up because of the compression and creates adiabatic heating. With an airbrush linked to a compressed air canister, it's the opposite. You reach the adiabatic cooling. Consequently, don't let your air canister rest on paper, for instance. After a long session, your Aircan 180 could sweat or even be frozen. A little bit more complicated to find than the other products, this set ABS-1N deserves to be tested and adopted. Do not hesitate to look for one on internet or place an order with your retailer. Its price varies from 60 to 90 euros. For the visual pleasure, here is a rendering test in video of a Lockheed Super Constellation Intercontinental, made with the Copic tools tested in this video, few colored pencil, a white Posca, and a ballpoint pen Big Crystal.